Hello, Facebook Live. How are you? It is Dr. Kimberly. I'm excited to be on. I am looking forward to this live on this evening. So I wanted you all to come on in, join, because I have some amazing nuggets to share with you. Really, it's just saying no longer afraid to get paid. Yes, we're having this discussion. We're having this conversation. We are having this discussion tonight. It is for anyone and everyone who has a service. If you are a service provider, if you are a speaker, if you do panels, people ask you to come speak, if you facilitate, if you teach, you train, and you go out and you provide a service and you are developing your craft and you're working on your craft. This is for those individuals who are speakers, trainers, comedians, hosts, panelists. If you are out there and this is the thing that you desire to do, I want to let you know that you no longer have to be afraid to get paid. And let me tell you, join, share this live, because this is going to be a game changer for you. I'm going to be transparent, and I'm also going to share with you some nuggets that's going to help you up level as a speaker, as a trainer, as a panelist, whenever you provide a service, period. If you are a business owner, if you have a side hustle, whatever that looks like for you, this is going to help change the game. I want to take you from being someone who just has a hobby to really having a business. And also, if you do not have a formalized business where you say, well, I'm not there yet, it's okay. I can still help you move from your fear and overcome your fear of getting paid. So, listen, here's the deal. I just want to keep it 100% just transparent with you. I've been speaking for years. Share this video. I have been speaking for years, and I'm guilty of it. I will be the first to say that I have asked people to come on platforms, and I've asked them to speak for a donation, or well, let's back up, for free, or to donate their time. And when you know better, you do better. When I first started out, that's the mentality that I had, was a ministry mentality. And there's nothing wrong with that, but everything was operated from a place of ministry. So no matter what type of service that you provided, it was always, for me, it was when you minister, you're doing something that has anything to do with your gift or speaking, or if you're teaching, whatever that look like, you are to do it for free. And that's a mentality that I've had for, growing up, and I've seen people do it. And so I took on that mentality as well. But I'm going to be here to let you know, I was 19 years in the game, been speaking since I was 5 years old. Let's be very clear. I'm a competitive speaker. I've traveled, not just now that what you see in the last 10 years, before Facebook, before social media, I've been speaking, I've been teaching, I've traveled globally. I've worked for corporate organizations. I spoke for churches. I've spoke for nonprofits, for-profits. And again, oftentimes when you are a speaker, you really just get excited when people ask you to speak. But when you move into a professional speaker, or as a professional speaker, or even if you're moving into an aspirational speaker, let's talk about not being afraid to get paid. So number one, I want to go quickly with, let's talk about this thing, this big myth. People confuse, I'm just going to drop about 4 nuggets. First of all, people confuse being humility or humble with, not being paid to speak. First of all, if you're providing a service, and if you are providing any type of skill set that you're using behind the scenes, anything that you're doing in preparation for, I want to help you get paid behind the mic, because oftentimes what we'll do, people will ask you. So let's back up. Here we go. I want to do this very strategically. So for one, let's back up. We're going to talk about this free speaking. First of all, it's freedom of speech. Okay. But it's not, I'm a free speaker. So I want everyone now to know that it's freedom of speech, but you are not a free speaker. And it does not matter if you are doing 30 minutes, if you're doing an hour, if you're doing a panel, if you are emceeing, if you are hosting, teaching, training, speaking, facilitating, it is freedom of speech, but you are not a free speaker. And let me be clear about this. It's not about, for some reason, we have this mentality in this community that we're supposed to speak for free. And if you submit an invoice, or if you submit a proposal, that people are offended. Because, well, let me ask you a question. Would you go into a dentist office and ask them to give you dental work for free? If your friend was a dentist, would you want them to do your dental work for free? If your friend's an attorney, do they do free work for you? When you walk into dealers, do you ask them to let you have a pair of shoes for free because you have something coming up? It's the same with those who serve. So let's start by saying people need to start valuing the type of service that you provide, but most importantly, you need to value the service that you provide. Value starts with you, and I want to talk about quickly a couple of things. We've confused humility. And this, when you think about the definition of humble, it says not being proud or not thinking of yourself more highly than you are, and you walk into a position of lowliness, like so that you will not be proud and make others feel less than. It doesn't say anything about not being paid for your services. So let's eradicate that myth right now and no longer be afraid to get paid. Share this, because this is going to shape and change you. I promise you, you're going to be up level by the time you finish this live. Share this live. So number one, that's not being humble by not charging a fee. It's actually saying that you don't value the work that you do. And so how do we change that mentality? Is seeing our value. So for one, being humble and being, we think that's cute. Oh, but she's so humble and she's walking in humility, and that's good. However, you're still going to have to see yourself as valuable. The services that you provide is valuable, because if not, you're going to always be speaking for free. There's plenty of people out there that are on flyers after flyer after flyer, and they're on hundreds of flyers, but you can be booked, you can be busy, and you can be broke all at the same time. I've been there. I've spoken on several platforms years ago, and I wouldn't charge a dime, wouldn't bring up anything about a dime. But let me tell you, that stopped a good old 10, 11 years ago. Let's be very clear. And so what I want to tell you, being humble, and eradicate that myth about being humble. As a speaker, humility has nothing to do with you being paid for the service that you provide. All right. Number two is, most of the time we are not asking as a speaker. First of all, this is my philosophy as I've traveled the world, as I have I'm not self-proclaimed. This is experience and just professional acuity that I'm trying to put out there for you all to have. But at the same time, I want you to understand that fear often causes us as the individual speaker or the service provider not to charge a fee, because we're afraid. Well, I want to ask you on today to switch that fear into value. And so when you start seeing the value that you provide behind the mic, when you start seeing the value that you provide, then fear now is eradicated, because you now see that you have value. So it's not that you're worried about monetizing. Those of you who have a challenge with money, so if you don't want to monetize, then value size. So you can hashtag that. If you don't want to monetize, then value size. What does that mean? Well, if you're afraid to monetize, then take a look at what the value you're providing. And then I ask you then to put what it is that you're charging for those hours, that time, that content, that research, and those things that the time you're spending away from your family. So if you don't want to monetize, then value size, and put that amount on the value that you bring in. So that's one thing. Humility and being humble has nothing to do with being paid properly for the work and the service that you do. All right. So, and then again, number two is fear. We are afraid for some reason to request. And so I'm going to help those speakers and those individuals out there on tonight. First of all, let's safeguard something. Always set up a speaker request form. So if you are a speaker, have a process in place where people can request you, because in the past, people would request you through DM, your direct messaging, or they would text you, or friends may say, hey, what's your email address? Or they may just want to come up to you and have you speak. All right. I don't care what level. You could be entry level speaker. You could be expert level speaker. At the same rate, you need to have a process in place where people request your services. So when people, years ago, I started this, people would ask me, how much you charge to speak, Dr. Kimberly. I would say, you know what? It depends on what service I'm providing for you. So if you will, go to my site. Here is the link, and then you can fill out the speaker request form. If you are speaking professionally or you want to get paid for the service that you're providing, there is nothing wrong. We have to come out of this mindset and this mentality that if someone requests a speaker fee, then you're offended. Well, I'm offended because when you thought of me, you should have thought of how you're going to invest in the service that I'm going to provide. Most time I'm away from my family, I'm away from my children, I'm away from my husband. You have years of experience, 19 years in corporate America. You have a bachelor's, a master's, a PhD, and experience. You have international, global, local, church, 501c3s. You have nonprofits. You have speaking in competitions. You have a wealth of knowledge when you're bringing a speaker like myself, and it has nothing to do with not being humble. For some reason, religiosity has taught us as believers or those who are in the marketplace of ministry that if you charge for a fee that you're not saved, or you're pimping the ministry. No, you're the pimp. Because what actually you're doing is wanting a service for free when someone is actually being away from their family and someone else is working diligently and really putting in the work to come and pour into, whether it's corporate, whether it is church related, women's empowerment, no matter what it is. And so I want to break you free tonight on the chains of bondage and no longer be afraid to get paid. So how do we do that? We want to do it professionally. We want to have business acuity. So number one, make sure that you have a process set up where people can actually request you to speak. And what does that look like? You either have to have a link, you have to have maybe an email with a few questions, but you want to make sure that when you are asked to speak, that you're not giving prices on the spot. And oftentimes people want pricing on the spot, but you don't even know how long you're going to speak. Like, a fee for 30 minutes is different than a fee for 3 hours. If I'm doing a half day and you want me to give you a fee right away, it's impossible, because I need to be able to go and see what that looks like. What type of content is this? Customized content? Am I providing resources, material? How much research am I going to have to do? Is this something I already have that's fully baked that you can actually pull off the shelf? There's different pricing based on the type of service that I will provide as a speaker. And you also need to understand that your audience does not know if you are providing them customized material unless that's something that's discussed. And so you want to no longer take just any speaker request. I know we get enamored, we get excited, but I want you to understand, as a service provider, this is really for speakers, trainers, MCs, hosts, panelists, no matter what it is. I'm not telling you what to charge, what fee to charge. What I'm telling you is that there has to be a fee in place so that you can be seen, first of all, as a professional and as a value speaker. All right. So that's again, put it in there, hashtag it. You want to make sure that you understand I want to break you free from, oh, you're not humble, or, you're not walking in humility. That's the biggest lie that anybody can tell you. Humility, as I said earlier, has nothing to do with being paid for the service that you provide, okay? Also, if you're afraid to monetize, then value size. Make sure you're putting value into your proposal that your actual audience will receive. And this is not just for individuals who do keynotes. This is for if you're doing a workshop, if you're doing 30 minutes, you should be paid for the work that you do. The price that you charge or the fee that you charge is totally up to you. However, I'm just encouraging you to break free of that fear. Also, things that go on behind the mic. That is what the person who is asking your client or your potential client, they're asking you to come on and they're saying, can you speak for 30 minutes? Can you speak for an hour? Can you speak for 2 hours? Maybe a half a day or 8 hours. They do not know the work that it takes. And that's why they're asking you, is because you're the expert. So are you the perceived expert, or you're the person that the man or woman for the hour? What I'm sharing with you is they do not know all the work that goes into you delivering that stellar presentation in front of the mic. And so I want to help you learn to be able to create value and show who you're speaking to, that client or that potential client or that board who's going to vote or who's going to select you. I want you to be able to show the value that you have as a speaker. And that is where I think most of us get a little confused, is because we don't know our value. All right. And so I want to encourage you, if you're on this live and this is helping you, go ahead, and I want you to put it in the comments and share this as well. But I want you also not to be afraid to invest. And I say that invest in yourself as a speaker, invest in yourself to up-level your skill. You want to also invest in what it is that you are directionally wanting to do as a professional speaker. So again, I just came on to give you some quick tips on no longer afraid to get paid. And that's for those who are speakers. And if you are standing in front of a mic, you should be getting paid for the work that you're doing behind the mic. Okay. And so I used to be afraid to share my fee or charge a fee. And the one reason we get afraid as speakers is because we don't know our value. And when I started to tell individuals this, I started to tell my clients this as well. You can never pay me what I'm worth. So let's stop there right now. No one can ever pay you what you're worth. You're priceless. So let's take that off the table. So it's not about you getting paid for what you're worth. You're getting paid for the work that you're doing. So do not think of it in terms of, this is me and you're getting paid for me. This is getting paid for the work that I'm doing, the research and the objective things that I'm putting into place, so that your audience can walk away enriched, empowered, esteemed, transformed, knowledge, learned. These are some things that you want to do. So I did want to come on and share that with you. I do have Speaker Pro, which is, I sent this out last week before Black Friday and before Cyber Monday, but I wanted to come on because I did have some downloads, but I wanted to share with you all that it's time out for just going and getting excited and getting on a flyer and saying, I want to be a speaker. Listen, it's time out for that. It's time for you to get paid. And for those of you who desire people to speak at your events, and like myself, when I used to do a lot of events. And again, I stated this at the very beginning, I've made the same mistake because of the way I was taught, the way I saw things, the way I thought things were supposed to run. And I literally thought people were, if you're in ministry or if you're speaking about women empowerment or something positive, or if it's a nonprofit, that you were really supposed to donate your time. And when you know better, you do better. And when I did not have a budget, I would ask, the first thing that I would do is I would let the person know I do not have a budget. But if you rewind, that's the wrong way to approach it. What, in hindsight, it's not about, do I have a budget? It's, I need to create a budget for the speaker. Okay, so twofold. Don't be afraid to get paid for the work that you do. If people are getting upset because they are asking you have a fee, then that means they don't value the skill, the knowledge, the experience, the work that you're providing. Okay, and so I just wanted to come on really quickly and share that with you. Go over to the site, jump over and get Speaker Pro. It's $27, y'all. Listen, it's going to change your whole life. It is a strategic flow, a methodical flow, and I just put this training together. It's mini series. You get the training. I walk you through 4 steps on how to actually establish your proposal, what you should put in there, no matter what type of speaking engagement or service you're providing. You can utilize this tool. It is quick. It is a quick win. It's bite-sized. It's effective. I give you an example of a client proposal that I had submitted, and then I also show you what a blank one would look like. And so for those of you who download it, send in your feedback about it. It is dynamic. I want to help you learn to no longer be afraid to get paid. It's tough out here. There are a lot of people who are speaking, and some people will speak for free because they say exposure. Here's the deal. There are some, that's a whole different live. There are some events that you definitely speak at no cost for exposure. But those are programs that are a little different. And for example, if Oprah contacted you and said, hey, I want you to speak at my event that she's having, then that's a no-brainer that you know, what you probably would charge Oprah, you probably would be kind of shooting yourself in the foot, because if you were to get on a platform with Oprah, then the number of people that would purchase the book or would start to connect with you for other speaking opportunities would probably be more than what you would generally charge for a speaker fee. See, when you talk about speaking for exposure, you're talking about something that is a massive platform that's a different live. But when you're talking about just being paid to speak for the service you provide, I'm talking about we're leaving pennies on the table. We're leaving, walking away from amazing events, and you're feeling defeated, you're feeling played because and it's not their fault, it's your fault as the speaker, because you have to set the standard on how your expectations are and what your expectations are. Now, if you have any questions, put them in and we can talk about it. What are some of your biggest fears? What are some of your biggest challenges? Why is it difficult for you to submit a proposal? What are some of your beliefs? I want to know what that is. I can tell you mine at the beginning when I first started out as a professional speaker, meaning you are getting paid to speak, or you are speaking professionally in different environments consistently. My biggest fear, moment of transparency, was losing. I thought I would lose the speaking engagement if I told them I charged a fee, or if I submitted a fee and it wasn't in their budget. Well, see, that's backwards. So technically, when someone is to request you to speak, they should submit to you what they're actually that's budgeted for you to speak. And then you go from there and you can actually submit a negotiated rate. All right. And so I've done it several ways, but this time, every time I submit my proposal, hands down, there has never been a proposal that has been rejected. No joke. So when you get this download, it has never been rejected. One or two things have happened. They've come back and asked me, when you see it, it's amazing, y'all. You get to kind of break down what you would extend and what you offer, your value factor. It's really unique. But it's very simple, but you get a chance, your clients get a chance to see what it is that they're getting from you. And they can say, well, I don't want this, so I'll take this particular thing off. Or we would love to add this. I've had nothing but kudos and mazel tovs from clients, whether it's corporate or in the dutiful organizations like churches, or either nonprofits, for-profits, women empowerment. I've had nothing but kudos, because it actually shows your client what they're getting and if they would like more. And so I want to encourage you to download Speaker Pro. And also just share with me some of your challenges. So Lakita says, my biggest problem is that I'm in ministry, so I feel bad saying I have a fee. Did it once and I was sweating bullets. We just got through talking about that. So here's the deal, Lakita. What I shared before is that you need to have a process in place in which people can actually go and request you as a speaker. Therefore, you do not have to have that upfront dialogue about how much and going back and forth, and you don't have to make that decision right away. So if people come up to you and say, hey, do you have a speaker fee? Do you charge to speak? You say, you know what? If you would like for me to speak, go to my page and fill out the speaker request form. If you go to my page right now, and anybody, you all can check out drkimberlyellison.com. If you submit a speaker request, it actually has your name, your event, the number of people expected. It has the date of the event, the time, how long you want me to speak, the type of event, the topic, the theme. And then it also has the budget for the speaker, okay, or the amount allotted for the speaker. And then I also put a little asterisk there that says, this is also negotiable, or, or whatever, to let the person know. But why is it that we have the fear? The fear comes from value, and the fear comes from a ministry perspective. You're not charging for ministry. What you are charging for is the preparation. You're charging for your resources. You're charging for your time, the time you're away from your family, the gas, the petrol you're going to put in your car, the research that you have to do, the things you spend a lot of time preparing. And so you're charging for that. And then also for your service. So you can eradicate that fear. We have been taught that, we're not supposed to charge. So her biggest fear, for you all that are listening, she says, is in ministry, she feels bad saying she has a fee. All right, so two things. One, in ministry, they call it an honorarium. And if you're a speaker, then you call it a fee. And so I always tell individuals that when I'm doing a ministry event, if you have an honorarium, then you can charge an honorarium. And that's based on what you decide. Again, they still have to go in and request you. I tell people I'm a professional speaker when I am speaking in certain arenas, and I don't have no honorarium. I have fee. So I want you all to be very clear. Lakeitha, let me know if that helped, and let me know if the training helped as well. And sometimes we have to help people to see the value. I know in ministry, Lakeitha, it is a little tough, because ministry, like I said before, I was taught that if it's ministry, it's free, you shouldn't charge, it's the Lord's work and all of that. However, when you are going to speak it for ministry, they should already have an honorarium prepared for you. They should already have a budget. I'm committed to, I speak for free throughout the year. I have 2 events that I speak for free. Those events are people who submit that have low budgets or no budget. That is something that I do and donate back to those organizations. And it's not any one organization. It's just sometimes I know that when I first started out in ministry and as a professional speaker, I asked people, I didn't have a budget. So I always am very, I'm just very aware and in tune with, some people will start out and they want speakers to come on to their platforms, and they may not have a huge budget. So I do speak for free twice a year at 2 events. That is it. When those events are done, that is it. I'm not telling you how much to charge. I'm just telling you that there is a fee that should be associated with you and the service that you provide. Good, Lakeitha, I'm glad that helped you as well. And let me know if the training worked for you. How well was it? How good was it? And did you feel good about it? Were you nervous? And I would love to hear your feedback. I put that training together because I had I'm a speaker coach as well. And I had a lot of questions from some of my clients about what their fee should be. That's a totally different class about how do you charge and what fees. And some people can charge by the hour. Some people can charge by the type of event, the training, if it's a panel discussion. Some people say, well, for a panelist, they charge, $350 or $75. I can't tell you what to charge. That is totally up to the value that you provide, the services that you're putting together. Okay. Now we can do ranges, but this is not to determine your fee. This is just letting you know, as a speaker, you no longer have to be afraid to get paid. Again, it's freedom of speech, but it's not free speaking. And it took me a while to really understand, as a speaker, it took me a while to understand that concept. It took me a while to change my mindset around the value that I was providing. Lakeitha says she loved the training. She said training was awesome, and I will need to listen to it repeatedly to retrain my thought process. That's good to know. And definitely, it's short enough, it's quick. I think it's about 27 to 30 minutes where you can actually just continue to listen to it. It shows you completely how to establish your proposal. And then you get the free download. So you get the free download for that particular training. And then you also get the actual mini training session. It's yours to keep. You can use it to, put your information in. And I also give you a sample. So you can and I gave a training sample, but I also talked about a speaking sample. So you can look through it and you can customize it according to what you're providing. I just need you to have a baseline on how to establish that. So share this live. I would love for you to go to my site, drkimberlyellison.com, Speaker Pro. It is up. It is $27. We run this program for the Cyber Monday and the Black Friday, and we're just going to continue to run it for the rest of this week. But I would love for you to go get your download, share it with your speaker friends. And another thing, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. I'm one of those people that if you have an expectation where you want people to invest in you, you have to learn to invest in yourself and up-level your knowledge. This is where you change the game. Like, this is the difference between you going home from an event upset because you poured everything out and you just went crazy with the development and design and the content, but then you walked away with nothing. And then let's not get on if you don't have a product. That's for another live. That's for a Sparkle Publishing Live. Where we talk about getting published and having product and having you as a speaker and then also as an author and how you submit your proposal, but then you also include your product as a part of the service that you're providing. That's a totally different strategy. Listen, we're out here winning. It's enough for everybody to eat. Download the training, go to the site, share with someone, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. Lakeitha, we're going to chat this week because I want to know more about how the training was for you. And ladies and gentlemen, go check it out. Speaker Pro, share with your friends. No longer will you go out and speak for free. Remember, it's not, we talked about this, Lakeitha, humility. Walking in humility has nothing to do with being paid for the service that you provide. All right. So I hope you all enjoyed this live. It's a little bit longer than what I anticipated. I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit and just share a couple of tips with you on no longer being afraid to get paid. Listen, and this is for those of you who people just say, hey, can you come on and talk about real estate? Or can you come on and talk about, how do you do what you do? Now, I'm not telling you to go and break the bank, okay? I'm not telling you to go, and charge this fee that no one can afford to pay. No, I'm just telling you that you need to have fee associated with the service that you provide. And for someone, and I learned this the hard way, for someone to ask you to speak or to provide a service with no intent to pay you. And listen, we ain't talking about chicken plates. Anybody getting paid with no chicken no more. I don't need no more food. I don't need no chicken. I don't need no dinners or anything like that. No more chicken plates. No more baskets with lotion in them. No more journals. No. When you know better, we do better. Okay? So share this live, and also no longer be afraid to get paid. Go to drkimberlyellison.com, and I hope to see you in the course room.